Bitcoin price is about to get quite complicated. At least that's what we said in last week's video, looking for a bit of a pullback after this current rally. And it looks like the pullback has indeed happened. Some complications have indeed occurred in the last 24 hours. So I wanted to come back on this video and update as to, what I'd be looking for on this pullback, where potential lows can come in around, and what sort of, I guess, majorly concerning regions would be exposed for Bitcoin if it did get there. So other than that, I should let you know that we still have our beginning of 2025 New Year's resolutioners sale going on right now with the code 2025, literally just the numbers 2025. And that will award you 20% off of any one of the programs or services in the Teachable School in the link in the description below. All right, sweet. Let's jump into the actual price action analysis right here. So on yesterday's video, we identified that Bitcoin Bitcoin did something. It did do something. Bitcoin did put in something actually significant. It did put in a higher high compared to the last lower high that we saw from December 25th, like literally the Santa Rally high. And that does offer up the potential for an actual reversal here from a downtrend to an uptrend. Obviously, Bitcoin was or is technically still in a downtrend. You have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, you have a lower low, thus must be a downtrend. But with taking out this last prior high, creating a higher high, it does open up the possibility for an actual reversal if, as we went over in yesterday's video, Bitcoin pulls back into a higher low. Now, on yesterday's video, I said probably comes down, somewhere around 95,000 bucks. I do think now, looking at things today, like the first day of this pullback, to be fair, or second day of this pullback, I guess, I would say that would be quite optimistic, but it is possible. That would probably be the most optimistic possible area that I'd be looking for on a higher low. If we go over here to, where is it? Hey, where's my damn HPDR? There we go. There's my damn HPDR. We can see that the HPDR on the daily time frame is resting right on that median, which is about 95,500. So as long as Bitcoin is above there, there is a potential for this to be the higher low. I think it's a little bit more optimistic than what I'm typically comfortable with, but hey, it is there. So what would you be looking for to actually confirm this as a higher low? Thus, the uptrend is confirmed, and maybe it's not a fucking green dildo party exactly from there, but sideways and up would be the likely name of the game, or would be the name of the game. Just takes time, I suppose. We'd expect Bitcoin to certainly not close anywhere below 95,500 on a daily closing base. If you see that, all bets are fucking off out, on this area, obviously. But there is another area of interest too before doomium occurs. And if Bitcoin, essentially doesn't break down over the next few days, end of this week, basically, end of Friday, if you don't see it lower than 95.5 on a daily closing basis, that's going to start to look pretty damn good for this one, actually putting in a higher low here, and Bitcoin, likely starting its trudge sideways and up. But if Bitcoin does fail below that region, what would be the next and actually last area that I'd be looking for on a potential higher low if Bitcoin really is going to reverse here and continue on with the overall macro trend and the bull market in 2025, let's say? Well, for that, we can pull a nice Fibonacci retracement here from the low to high of this last move. And we can see Bitcoin actually is finding a little bit of bounce off at the 618. So another sort of confirming or confounding. No, what's the word that I'm looking for? Fuck, man, my brain has been obliterated. Another confounding. No, just another signal that does like 95.5 basically. But if that does fail, the 786 down here at 93,700, which is also in alignment with this green 55 exponential moving average, would be my next area of interest. Let's say that's somewhere around 93,500 bucks, give or take a few bucks from that number. That would still obviously be a higher low compared to the December 30th lows right here. But that's actually, at least in my opinion, the last area of great interest. Again, on a closing basis, if Bitcoin starts to work its way lower than there, I mean, this is going to start to look like an actual bull trap on a higher term time frame in a very precarious place at a very poor time as well, thinking in terms of cycle timing. So, I think it's less likely to happen, but of course, my opinions on that are irrelevant. If it happens, it happens, and preparing actions for that is the most important thing after that. Anyways, Yeah. Okay. So let me just make sure I'm on track with these notes right here. Okay. As far as the current range goes, I think it's quite obvious with these green lines. Same shit as yesterday, basically. To the upside, 102,700. To the downside, 91, basically $91,000. If Bitcoin does break below that last low in December 30th, that is when I would start to get quite concerned, honestly. As I went over in yesterday's video, and I want to bring it up here as well. So let me just actually prepare this. I don't know why it's not on my damn thing, but let me get my notes, my sheets over here ready. When we're looking at January lows, one of the reasons why I'd be very concerned if Bitcoin does come below basically last month's low is that, one, Bitcoin would have a new low for January. And we know that in general, when Bitcoin's in a macro uptrend, or especially if January is going to close green, which I have the data right here, the lows for January typically happen before the first week is over. In fact, only twice in Bitcoin's history have we seen Bitcoin put the low in later than even the fourth fucking day of January, and still close the month green. And that was 2014 and 2024, which were actually very late in the month, 27th and 23rd. But Bitcoin did still close green on the monthly. Now, if Bitcoin comes down and makes a new low, I mean, it does increase the probability that it's going to, this month is going to close red, obviously. And if this month closes red, just extrapolating from there, hey, where's my damn thing? You fucking bastard. There we go. Sorry. My autistic rages are popping up right now. But that's just how I treat my inanimate trading view objects. If it does take out this low, I think it's going to be obvious that it's going to reconnect with that red moving average right here, the 5 exponential, which is around $86,000, give or take a few bucks from that number. But if Bitcoin comes down there later on in the month, that's gonna really start to make this look like an actual fucking top. That's a shooting star dildo, and then you'd have continuation below the low of the prior after opening up on a bounce, which I also said at the beginning of this month is like that made things more difficult. It would have been a lot more easy if Bitcoin just came down at the beginning of the month and then went up rather than going up first and then coming down. But here we are. It is what it is. Anyways, I need to get back onto my notes over here because I forgot where I am. Yeah. Okay. So we got that. We got the two most proximal areas for a higher low. And then of course, worst case scenario for January, I don't see Bitcoin going anywhere below 86, even if, 91 breaks again. There should be a bounce there, but that does set up February to, do something quite bad for the bulls. But yeah. Anyways, as far as stochastic momentum goes, I do want to say that on the daily, again, if you're looking for a low here, you are looking for the daily stochastic oscillator to kind of reset. So if you see something like this, or do I have a drawing here? I do have a drawing here. Yeah. If you see something like this, where over the next, week and a half, it kind of corrects all the way down while price action very specifically and very importantly does not trade below the December 30th lows. Again, that's going to be another really good signal that Bitcoin is going to put in a higher low. And again, it's not going to be a fucking massive green dildo rocket ship emojis exactly from that region if and when that does happen. But, perhaps it does something like this, a bit more sideways and then sets up for a try to the upside very late to this month, or very late in January / early February, something like that. If you see that would also make things quite obvious here. So if you're bullish, you're looking for things to continue to get more slow, more sideways, and most specifically, not going below December 30th slow. Also, I did forget to mention this as well. Going over here to the price statistics, we can see that Wednesday does have an average negative return for negative closing Wednesdays, which happens about 53% of the time since 2024 began, with an average loss of 184, which Bitcoin actually has hit on this morning's dump. So, another thing suggesting that, hey, if you want to be the most optimistic, looking for a pullback, it is there. It is there. personally, I mean, I'm not going to be trading like on this fucking schedule right here, to be honest. But if I was trading this, I would not enter on the first day. I would wait at least until tomorrow, probably even the day after that, which would be Friday, I think. And if you see it still holding here and actually curling around, okay, yeah, there we go. Looks like it's actually okay. But for now, it's highly speculative, I would say. Anyways, I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off on this video. I think we got just about everything that I wanted to get on this one. Yeah. One last thing I do want to say, for all the people in the Quant Prime service who have been using the Quant AI Chatbot, it's been massively helpful. It's still in beta format. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, basically I'm creating AI chatbots that are trained on the data of these programs so that you can basically have like a personalized mentor. It's still in beta, obviously, for the Quant Prime, but I want to say a massive thank you to all the people who've been using it, because I can actually go in and see all of your conversations and add context to the bot's training materials for questions that it struggled with or that it got wrong. There's also just several questions that were like, what the fuck are you saying, bro? It's like, my chatbot can't figure that out. Like, what are you talking about? But fair enough. And of course, once I'm done with that, or very, feeling a lot better about it, and it's not necessarily in beta, I will do the same thing for the Trade Like a Quant service. In fact, I'll probably end up doing the same thing for most of these programs. But that'll take some time. I'm probably aiming, hopefully before February, to get a beta format of the chatbot on for the Trade Like a Quant program. Anyways, that's enough shilling for one day. As always, I'd like to wish you the best of best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Thursday.